Shabbat Shalom. As you settle in, I want to just share with you how thrilled we are that you are choosing to spend Shabbat with us. It was a big week. Let the week settle and remain where it is and find your center. Find your breath. Find the gifts of Shabbat as we welcome them together. 126 of our Siddur, Mishkan Tefillah. If you don't have your own copy at home, please use a second device to open the PDF that is below your live stream, or even to create a split screen so that you can follow the PDF that's posted on our website. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. The source needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love the source is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love the source is to love the world HaShekhinah created, and to work to perfect that world. To love the source is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. 129, opening our hearts with the poetry of Song of Songs. Todi v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim, Todi v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim, mi zot olah mi hamidbar, mi zot olah, mi kuteret mor, mor livona, Todi v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim, Todi v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Lebavtini ahoti kala, lebavtini kala, lebavtini ahoti kala, lebavtini kala. Todi v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim, Todi v'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Uri tzafon uvori teman, Uri tzafon uvori teman. Lai 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 lai. The middle of 129. 130. Come, let us sing joyously to the source. Raise a shout for Hatzor, our deliverer. Let us come into the source's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for HaShekhinah in song, for the source is a great Shekhinah, the great ruler of all divine beings. In the source's hand are the depths of the earth. The peaks of the mountains are HaShekhinah's. The source is the sea. The source made it, and the land which the source's hand fashioned. Come, let us bow down and kneel, bend the knee before Yud He Vav He, our Maker. For the source is our Shekhinah, and we are the people that HaShekhinah tends, the flock in HaShekhinah's care. Oh, if you would but heed the source's charge this day. 138. Paragraphs 1 and 2, 5 and 9. Reaching the 9th paragraph, it is traditional in our synagogues throughout the world to stand and face the entrance to the sanctuary. When we do so, it must be more than a ritual. It's not just about welcoming one another, which is in and of itself precious. It's not just about welcoming the one in our congregation who has just recently sustained a loss and is finding her or his way back. But it is really the challenge about welcoming the other, the one that we don't know, the one who chooses or needs to be in our midst. How do we respond?
לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד ישמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת ותהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ברכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה ומחשבה תפילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ושלום הטרם עלה, גא בשמחה ובסהלה, תוך אמוני הסגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. פני שבת לקבלה.
Page 120. When I light Shabbos candles with my children, with my grandson, I think back to my Savta, my grandmother, and the candles that she would light on her kitchen table. With the birth of each new grandchild, my Savta would add yet another candle. It was her way of including all of her mishpacha, all of her mishpucha in the Sabbath celebration. It has become our tradition to hold essential workers, the front line first responders, the people who are putting their lives on the line to protect us during this past year of living through a deadly and challenging pandemic. As we light candles, I ask that you first just meditate on what that means for us to send our prayers, our love, our care, our advocacy, and our concern to all of those who are putting their lives on the life for us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
These nurses, Marie Delaparte, Christina Dubois, Teresa Eggers, Teresa Esposito, Lindsay Miller, Jay Mountier, Cindy Pomerantz, Helen Powers, Joni Savego, Lucinda Siegel, Christina Snell, Amy Staley, Ashley Wallace, Ben Wilder, Elisa Williams. These doctors, Linda Brandon, Amy Cagiulo, Joe Cohn, Shani David, Elliot Dresnick, Lee Gerson Friedman, Nicholas Friedman, Stephen Grossman, Elon Haley, Jan Hoyt, Roger Husted, Steve Kaplan, Howie Leifer, Liz Levine, Aaron Daniel Levitt, Elle Levitt, Noah Alexander Levitt, Richard Levy, Matt Lordy, Hannah Mittenberg, Wendy Parrish, Stephen Schwartz, Andrew Yanowski, Martin Krakauer, Jody Sumber. These healthcare professionals, Yisrael Aga, Dara Clausen, Bar Levi Romer, Katie Monsky, Joseph Schwendeman, Amy Skorka, Maureen Terranova, Jaron Whittam. These first responders, Ryan Coletti, Mark Donchek, Steve Fleischauer, Don Hughes, Karen Leader, Abe Markovitz, Anthony Schleuderer, Russell Seymour, Kahana Skalnick, these educational professionals, Sandy Albelli, Cindy Binney, Cara Levine Brenner, Carolyn Cernitsky, Lauren DePola, Molly Levine Hunt, Jim Hunt, Tammy Logan, Joanne Miller, Tracy Pollack, Cameron Rabb, Lauren Rose, Erin Swan, Sue Worthman, Karen Zrake, Brett Zuckerman. These social workers and mental health professionals, Andrew Binney, Charlie DeGeorge, Anastasia Duval-Yonetti, Janalee Fish, Dara Heinlein, Deb Jones, Stephen Kahn, Lauren Petties, Julie Stein-Mikowski, Sherry Tessler. These grocery staff personnel, Jill Smith, Mike Becker, Matt Wilder. These technicians, mechanics, and maintenance professionals, Mike Brewer, Brian Les Strange. These transportation personnel, Danny Miller. Shalom Aleichem, 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashavit, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Univet l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Betsy Kaddish 144.
Yitkada veyitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra chirute, v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei techol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, Uvisman kariv v'immeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam ulamei omaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Tekudesha Berichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'immeru amen. 145 entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. 146. La,
Ya,
la,
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 la.
la.
151. Welcoming love. Welcoming unconditional love. Love from the source. Using that love to center ourselves in faith, to center ourselves in actions that we bring into the world. 150.
Ahavat olam, ahavat olam, Beit Israel Amcha. Ahavat olam, ahavat olam, Beit Israel Amcha. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you, all the world sings to you, the world sings to you. All the world sings to you, the world sings to you, all the world sings to you, the world sings to you. The song of the trees when wind stirs their leaves, the song of the earth when rains lose its thirst, the song of the sea when waves are set free, the song of the sky when hummingbirds fly. Ahavat olam, ahavat olam, Beit Israel Amcha. Ahavat olam, ahavat olam, Beit Israel Amcha. The song of the trees when wind stirs their leaves, the song of the earth when rains lose its thirst, the song of the sea when waves are set free, the song of the sky when hummingbirds fly. All the world sings, all the world sings, all the world sings, all the world sings to you.
152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
155. Ve'ahavta. Love your source with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorposts of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for the Eternal One. I am Yud He Vav He, the source of creation. I led you out of Egypt to become your Eternal One. I am Yud He Vav He, your source of creation.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
159. On repairing the world, on healing. Sing the song of all people, joined in understanding and respect. The song of the source's miracles and earth, protected and cherished, not just on Tu B'Shvat, but throughout the year, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home, to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. 158.
Lai 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 Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei fele, nora tehilot, osei fele. Malichutecha ra'u v'necha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'elianu ve'amru, ze'elianu ve'amru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Lai 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 lai.
161. Hashkivenu, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. O Source, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al kol bnei Adam.
Amen.
164. More than we Jews have kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept us Jews, Achad Ha'am.
Tiftach ufi agi techilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. La 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 la.
Prayer invites the Source's presence to suffuse our spirits, the Eternal's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Tfilat Amidah belachash, in a whisper. The Amidah continues through 180. Find the prayers that you need to offer this evening, this Erev Shabbat. Create a pure heart within me. Let my soul wake up in your light. Open me to your presence. Flood me with your Holy Spirit.
Go
Source who creates peace in the heavens, inspire us to be Rodfei Shalom, pursuers of peace, passionate about peace, creating peace here on earth.
Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'elu amen. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Ose shalom, shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
When we've poured our own hearts out in prayer through the Amidah, so it's traditional for us to now turn to those in need, members of our congregation, family, and friends who are in need of healing. Please join me on page 371 as I bring this list of individuals together with the people that you are holding in your hearts and the millions who are struggling to heal from COVID and other illnesses. Avel ben Rachel v'David, Kenneth Atkins, Amanda Batista, Susan Bosch, Daniel Jules Brenner, Andrea Klein, Audrey Cohen, Barbara Cohen, Phoebe Cohn, Adele Corvin, Tyler Corvin, Louis Costello, John Gaudier, Joy Gross, Darren Jacobs, Judy Jacobs, Jacob Kerr, Seth Kerr, Mary Jane Klein, Lou Klein, Martha Lineback, Howard Pellet, Ben Reyes, Christine Riley, Tony Rosenstein, Robin Stone, Shana Tropes, John Valenti, Ellen Bogolov, George Wells, Ben Wilder, Phyllis Woolfield, Gretchen Zimmerman. We pray for continued healing for these individuals. Todd Albelli, Tommy Anderson, Bonnie Almantro, Jan Bennett, Joe Calley, Robert Cohn, Michael Corvin, Frank Costello, Vanessa Durant, Steve Fine, Charles Fitzsimmons, Barbara Gallagher, Francine Glasser, Mark Greenberg, Marcia Hamburg, Valerie Henderson, George Jones, Danny Joseph, Marty Cantor, Anita Cantor, Heather Kite, Jill Levy Corley, Charlie Lippman, Naomi Laurie, David Mallon, Joan Moore, Ann Murkoff, Catherine Nicholson, Nevea Newsy, Orly Batsvia Vachaya, Steve Perlmutter, Antoinette Phelan, Lillian Rich Schuster, Dave Rosenthal, Evie Rosenthal, Kyle Rothke, Barbara Salberg, Henry Sanderson, Claude Schleuderer, Shirley Schneider, Deborah Sears, Phil Searles, Sloan Shortley, Michelle Simon, Charles Slutsky, Elaine Trott, Mark Trott, Sandy Weiner, Karen Wilder, Mac Williams, and the residents and staff at the Livingston House.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Daber na be'oznei ha'am, speak if you will into the ears of the people. Vayisha'alu ish me'et re'ehu v'isha me'et re'uta klei kesef v'klei zahav. Speak if you will in the ears of the people, and let each man ask for from his fellow man, and each woman from her sister woman, silver vessels and gold vessels. The word Vayisha'alu can be translated multiple ways. Vayisha'alu, ask. Vayisha'alu, demand. Vayisha'alu, borrow. Which was it? For sure, this word raises the question concerning the ethical nature of how it was that the Israelites, leaving Egypt, leaving slavery, received these reparations of silver vessels and gold vessels. If the Israelites, Yisha'alu, borrowed this silver and gold, then the question arises as to what may have been the false pretenses under which they borrowed the silver and gold, not really with the intention of returning it, but taking the reparations with them into their wandering toward the promised land. Were the reparations Yisha'alu demanded? Well, then another question arises. Were the reparations received under duress? But if the reparations, Yisha'alu, were requested, asked for, as might be supported by the very next verse, 11:3, Hashem granted the Israelite people chen, favor, in the eyes of Egypt. Which was it? We don't know. But when you hear daber na, be'oznei ha'am, speak if you will, into the ears of the people, you are hearing something very powerful, something personal, actually almost intimate, and certainly something that speaks to accountability. Here's what can't be denied. That is that the Israelite people had labored as slaves for more than 400 years in Egypt. And now, in today's Torah portion, in this Sabbath's Torah portion, there is an account of their liberation and what can authentically be described as reparations in gold and silver that they took with them in the Exodus. According to the Torah, as described in Exodus 12:37, 600,000 Israelites were liberated from Egypt. Now, Talmud Sanhedrin 91 Aleph describes the silver and the gold that they took with them as their compensation for unpaid labor and the recognition of the suffering that they had endured. Peninei halacha, the face of law, describes the silver and gold as reparations that were for the purpose of laying the foundation for the future. Rabbi Mary Zamor explores the traditional idea of reparations, as well as the contemporary question, why silver and gold? Why not animals or provisions that they could use on their journey? Well, traditional commentary actually answers this and reminds us that provisions and flocks they actually already had. They took their own animals with them. But also, the rabbis were concerned that if they were given even more flock or more provisions, those provisions could be perishable. They could rot or become diseased. They were susceptible to disease. But the rabbis also remind us that the Israelites that wandered through the desert, they actually had everything that they needed. They had manna from heaven, and they had the sustaining wells, the water, accessed through the prophet Miriam's presence. Furthermore, the Tanhuma, Mechilta de Rabbi Yishmael, and Or HaChaim all describe that the silver and the gold would eventually be used in the building of the Mishkan, the building of the tabernacle, the sacred dwelling that would be erected and carried in the people's midst throughout their wanderings in the desert. In our biblical story, reparations are made, and our people move from slavery to liberation with the benefit of a form of restitution for the pain and suffering incurred during our 400 years of enslavement. And the purpose of the reparations was specifically to enable us to replace the horrors of oppression with the possibility of the sacred, the Mishkan. Another week. It has been another week. For those of you who come to my classes during the week, we cried together on Wednesday, the inauguration of the 46th president and the first woman and woman of color and South Asian descent to hold the second highest position in this land, Vice President of the United States. Shehechianu v'kiyimanu v'higianu
lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Full of gratitude that we've arrived here. That's what the rabbi says, what Yael Romer says. It's about darn time. And still, with those tears of joy, are still the tears and the memory of horror. The fresh memory of white supremacists violently attacking and breaching the capital of the United States in a directed and specific intentioned effort to subvert the democratic process. And I hear around me, it's time to move on. But there is no possibility of moving on without holding those who need to be held accountable for their criminal behavior, for their homicidal behavior, and the insidious force of evil. Let me remind you of images that haunt me, that depict evil straight up in America, an evil that cannot be ignored or swept under the rug any longer. Charlottesville, August 12th, 2017, neo-Nazis marching through Charlottesville with lit torches, chanting, "Jews will not replace us." Images of horror. The US Capitol, January 6th, 2021, violent rioters, after smashing windows and doors, viciously beating police and killing a Capitol Police officer with another officer to die the next day, ransacking their ways through the halls of Congress, not even to begin to speak of the white supremacists and neo-Nazis who sported the shirts that said Camp Auschwitz, the ones that carried the messages that 6 million was not enough. Violent rioters and insurrectionists, among them white supremacists boldly carrying the Confederate flags through the halls of the Congress of the United States of America. As we move forward with a new president and his administration and the newly elected House and the newly elected Senate, there are those who are calling for our country to put these crimes, this insurrection, this evil behind us. But what of accountability? And what of the fact that our military and defense professionals describe that in the United States today, by far, the most dangerous and imminent threat that is facing our country is terrorism from within. The rise of homemade terrorists, racists, anti-Semites, people who live by hatred and violence, neo-Nazis and white supremacists. So what is our responsibility?
to accountability. And what is our responsibility? To demanding that our government address the very real threat in our midst. Back to my colleague, Rabbi Zamor, who quotes, Ta-Nehisi quotes, reparations do not merely pay wages lost. They restore psychological and financial security. They allow those held back by injustice to dream of a future and invest in it. Exploring reparations as part of the repair of 400 years of systemic racism in America. Parashat Bo, our parasha for this Shabbat, describes reparations, perhaps controversial. Those reparations given to our people after 400 years of enslavement. What does the reform movement say about reparations? In 2019, the URJ adopted a resolution on the study and development of reparations for slavery and systemic racism in the U.S., saying this: the ongoing wounds of slavery and centuries of entrenched racial discrimination continue to fester and impact every part of American society. Such injustices will endure unless proactive steps are taken to acknowledge and eliminate them. One means of addressing centuries of entrenched racism, entrenched racial discrimination, is through reparations. Reparations can take many forms, including expressions of remorse, education, monetary compensation, and more. Daber na be'oznei ha'am, speak, if you will, into the ears of the people. It is personal. There is a level of ownership, of intimacy, of accountability. Reparations lay the foundation for healing. I don't know what the right form is. It's not my job to be a politician. It is my job to read the Torah. It is my job to live according to Jewish values. It is my job to teach Jewish values. Parashat Bo teaches of accountability through reparations. And I believe that to successfully move forward today, we must address and hold ourselves accountable for the injustice done and the inherent racism acted upon and directed toward people of color in this country for over 400 years. I believe that we have to stand up to white supremacy, that we have to stand up to inherent evil and violence and hatred, and demand that this society own it and make the necessary changes. Only then can we move beyond hatred, violence, and racism, and make it part of memory upon which we together can rebuild better our future together. (587), we continue with the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל,
לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Let the time not be distant, O source, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition and racism shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. 591.
ונאמר
והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Tonight, immediately following the close of services, we invite you to join our congregation for a virtual Kiddush on the Zoom platform. The link was sent out in your weekly emails, but if you don't have that in front of you, it is posted on our website for tonight's Kiddush. Tomorrow morning, our minyan begins at 10 a.m. This is such a wonderful opportunity to welcome the rhythms of Shabbat into your home. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 10. And tomorrow evening, beginning at 5 p.m., we will be celebrating Tu B'Shvat. Our schedule is as follows: a meet and greet from 5 to 5:15, a Tu B'Shvat Seder from 5:15 to 5:45, and then 15 minutes from 5:45 to 6 to be able to connect one more time and just celebrate this mystical holiday together. A combination of intentioning and balancing who we are with ourselves, who we are walking the earth, responsible for balance with the earth, for this tender and beautiful gift, and an opportunity to connect together as a congregation. There are no classes next week as I am out of synagogue, but we'll be back the first week in February, and of course, Shabbat next week with Alexandra as scheduled, Friday night at 7:30, Shabbat morning at 10. Looking forward to February. We have exciting plans for Purim. As soon as you've completed your Tu B'Shvat, then get ready for Purim. There are so many ways for you to be involved. We have a Purim page that will show all of the members of our congregation in costume. Take a photo and upload it. For the children, create a ra'ashan with something in your home, a noisemaker, a grogger, and let us hear a moment of the noise. For all of the children of all ages, from 1 to 101, we invite you to create a spiel up to 2 minutes that we can, again, make part of both our Purim page on the website as well as welcoming some of the spiels into our celebration on Friday, February 26th. I believe it's the 26th. It's not written for me, so I don't know. But it's one of the last Fridays of February, and you will get all of that information. If you know an essential worker that you would like added to our list, please call it into the office. Our solar energy fundraiser continues. This is such an important thing to speak about during Tu B'Shvat, this celebration, the new year of the trees. The solar energy fundraiser is quite simple. You save money, you save the earth, you do one bit of saving the earth, and Congregation Emmanuel benefits from the solar energy company. For more information on these programs, these holidays and celebrations, and our services, please go to cehv.org. Our building is closed during COVID, always putting pikuach nefesh, saving a soul, first. But I am here. The office is open. We are working daily, and I am available for you and to you. Please reach out by phone, by email, and I will be back in touch with you, as well as the office will be back in touch with you. $592. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old people that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for the other walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. 598, as we turn to the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, I am holding in my heart those members of our congregation who are in their year of grief, their Shana, their month of grief, their Shloshim, for those recent losses. Know that I am with you in love and support. And so too, the blessings of memory for those who have died in years past, whose yard sites are remembered in this season, in this week. Richard Bosch, remembered by Eli Bosch. Evelyn Emerson, remembered by Tom DeLuza. Irving Glasser, remembered by Francine Glasser. Anita Goldberg, remembered by Amy Skorka. David Goldhammer. Dr. Jacques Grunblatt, remembered by Mark Grunblatt. Lillian Hirsch, remembered by Stephen Hirsch. Charlotte Kaplan Kant, remembered by Anne Murkoff, Samuel Kaplan, Herbert Kletsky, Alice Leader, remembered by Karen Joy Leader, Harry Leifer, remembered by Howie Leifer, Amelia Ronder, Jeffrey Weiser, John Wilbur, remembered by Sharon Zappel. Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei decho beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru. Amen. Like the Israelite people, our people, we are on a journey. Page 649, Tfilat HaDerech, a prayer for the journey. Immediately after services, join us for the virtual Kiddush. Alex will lead us in the Kiddush at that time when we get on to Zoom.
May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May this be our blessing. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.